So we're here today with Demetria Smith, who's running for City Council District D. First of all, Ms. Smith, why are you running for District D?
Woo! Well, number one, District D is my baby, meaning that's my home district, my home area where I grew up in. So, but if you know, everybody else know, you ride down District D, and what do you see? It's not beautified. The economy is not where it needs to be in terms of the finances. All you have to do is just ride down the street, and you'll see District D is not where it needs to be. So I'm running in this race is because I see it's a lot of poverty, and I want to fight against that. It's hard to abolish poverty altogether, but to fight against it, I want to jump in the race and help fight against poverty, help struggling mothers, struggling individuals, and actually get the economy where it needs to be in terms of District D.
Okay. And so far, just before we turned on the camera, I can say you're one of the funnest of the candidates that I've talked to so far. And you seem really down to earth.
Very.
And that's one thing that struck me. And then number two, you're also a business owner. So how do those two things working together do you think will help you in this race and eventually you do become the city councilman?
Well, thank you for asking that question. Let me expound on the business side.
Okay.
I've been owning my business for 10 years, and it's a financial consulting firm. And with that being said, you already know that's part of your economic right there. So running the district, running the city, it's like running a business. You know, it's all about budgeting. It's all about what project I'm going to put out there, where we're going to find funds, the scheduling, the deadlines. So it's about managing and running a business. So if you're running the city, you're running the district, you run a business. So I apply those same principles is the reason why I'm also running, because I can use my business, my business intelligence and run a district. Now with me, myself personally, my personality is very relatable. I'm a laid back kind of person. I'm very open, very understanding, but when it's time for business, you'll see a whole different side. I'm very strict, and I'm very open and disclose. I'm always disclosing. I will expose at the same time. So I would definitely disclose because I don't want a bad name, because a bbad name travels faster like a virus, better than good news. So.
That's very true.
This is Demetria Smith.
And you touched on you wanting to help mothers. Are you a mother? And if so, tell us about
let me tell you about that. Yes. I am a mother and a grandmother on top of that.
Whoa, okay.
I'm 40 years old. I don't mind giving my age. I'm 40 years old. I have 6 kids. I have 6. You believe that?
Wow.
6 kids. My oldest one is 23 years old, and my youngest one is 16 years old.
Okay.
And those children is my future. Those children in the community is our future. So those children represent us as parents. And my children represent me once they go out there. So therefore, I am really hard on their education. So with the school bonds and things of that nature, that struck me. The thing, the schools closing down, that struck me. So that's another subject, to be honest with you. That's a whole different story. But again, back to the kids, those are my future. So I feel like in District D, our children is our future, and I think the parents should represent that, and the kids should represent that as well. So I believe parents should get more involved in their children's education, more involved. If they step up and get involved in the kids' education, they'll see that the whole thing in the school system will turn all the way around, but they have to come up, they have to step up.
And you touched on a subject that I kind of want to get into. I was originally against the bond. It was $2 billion that they say they're going to build new schools, but I know that's code word for we're going to close these schools and then build new ones elsewhere, or do it the way they want to do it. As a city council member, of course, you wouldn't have any official say with what goes on with the HISD school board, but how would you use your influence as a city council member to, how would you use that to influence HISD? Or what are some of the things that you think they need to work on over there?
Well, I can tell you this, Mr. Douglas. I'm one of those persons that do research. I don't get mad just to get mad. Everybody ranting, raving, they're upset. I'm a peacemaker. So let's bring peace. Let's calm down. Let's collect our thoughts. Let's find out what's really going on. Who does it benefit? Does it benefit this economy as a whole? That's number one. They have to benefit the whole economy. They have to benefit everybody. But who's carrying the economy? What portion of the people, what demographic of the people is carrying the economy? I like for all of us to carry the economy, because when one fall, it's trickle down to everybody. Yeah, so we all suffer, not just one. And some people will believe the rich are going to stay rich. Well, the rich need consumers. They need consumers to continue to purchase. So therefore, it affects them too. Maybe not immediately, but it affects them too. Now with the bond program, and you're absolutely right. I can tell you this, I did some research. And on the Proposition 6 for 2012, they did expose, they did disclose what will be taking place, the time frame is going to be taking place. They talk about the conversion of schools, how many schools are going to be open, renamed, things of that nature, what kind of program is going to be set forward. So they did do that. Now, I don't know if people really understood what was going on, but they did disclose. They had a community meeting back in September in 2011, also in October 2011 as well. But were we all there? Probably not. So people, to me, is being misinformed behind who say, what say, but get in there. Look at the HISD agenda. Look at the city agenda. You'll find out information there, but a lot of people don't utilize information at all, period. So they go by what the media say. But what the media wants to do, they want to get your attention, and wherever they can get your attention at, because it's about ratings for them. So if I'm going to catch you right there where you mad at, I'm going to make you mad some more, because you're going to easily believe what I'm getting ready to tell you out here. But people need to do their due diligence and get into the system and find out how it's working for us. Now, also with that being said, Mr. Douglas, now if you look at the school, one of the schools, 263 students, only Ryan, 263 students. Okay, you got to at least have 500 students for the government to continue to fund you. All right, so the government don't want to waste no money either. All right, so if you only have less than 500 students there, how are they going to continue to pay teachers? How are they going to continue to bring programs in? What are we going to do? Who's helping us get these students in here? We're losing our population. Where is our population going? Are they dying? Are they going to jail? Are they moving out? What are we going to do together? So they have to sit there and they have to budget. They have to strategize. They have to plan. What we're going to do to make this economy successful in this area. So that's where I am. So I analyze everything first. I'm not going to just get upset for no reason. Let me find out what's going on, and let me dig in at the root of the problem. Let me dig in and see how I can contribute to society. How can I contribute to the district? And I think everyone should be that way too, instead of getting upset for no reason. Because they won't be able to focus. They won't be able to be productive in their own lifestyle, because they always mad, always bitter.
That makes sense. And I used to actually work for TDCJ, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, for 5 years. Right out of high school, I was a correctional officer, a sergeant, and a lieutenant before I quit. And one of the reasons why I quit was because I got tired of seeing people that looked like me being warehoused and basically getting the X on their chest. It's kind of like once you get a felony, you can't work here, you can't live here, you can't do this, you can't do that. And looking at the systemic, profile of the problem that put our brothers and sisters in the first place. So the pipeline to prison and all that it entails is like something that's really near and dear to my heart. As a city council member, what is something that you could see happen, or how would you tackle that problem of our children? Especially yes.
Okay, that's a really good question. That's really dear to my heart too. But then that's what goes back to, how can I influence HISD? So it goes back to that. So let me take that back there. Now, what I like to do, even though we know HISD have no say over us and we don't have no say over HISD, so we're two separate entities there. But I think we can still, again, join venture, come together. And I would like to be an influence, to HISD. I like to sit in some of the board meetings and come up with a plan, but with the teachers, a mentoring program for the teachers. And it's because I want to say the teachers is not too much like in our students. Now, I'm not going to say everyone, but when our kids go to school, I mean, this already comes from a hopeless situation at home sometimes. And then when they leave home, they go 8 hours a day and be in a hopeless situation at school sometimes because of how things are being conveyed to them. And they already make them feel like they less work. And they already target our children. They already know by your attendance. They already know by your conduct. They already know how they're going to place you. This one is the one that's going to be a pipe to prison. So we don't need to target our kids. Our teachers, our staff don't need to target our kids, and that's what they do with the ticketing, with the referral programs. This is what they they do. All these referrals, all these write-ups, get on these parents. Y'all better understand what's going on. When they come home with 6 referrals a day, you better get involved because your child is on its way. They're going to leave from the public school. They're going to go to alternative school. Then they're going to go to JJAP. They're going to get on probation. Once they get on probation, they're going to the youth, the Texas youth. Yes. We don't want that.
Okay, so she's okay.
Get involved. So nip it in the bud right then and there. And that's what I am. I cut it off right there. So therefore, I feel as though since our children is running loose, okay, so the government, they figured out a way. All right, we figured out a way. These kids run loose. Who cares about these kids? Who cares?
Right.
So if nobody going to care, why should we care? No, no, no. They're going to build a program around our behavior. You got to remember, the government studies our behavior. They study us. So for the lack of knowledge, a lack of intelligence, they're going to make money off of our behavior, the way we think. Okay, so they get paid, they get rich. I'm not going to make them rich off of my behavior and the way I think. So I'm an intelligent fool. Calm down. Very intelligent. So, I'm sorry, you know, because, and I say that because I am an advocate for people. I don't want anybody to be taken advantage of, but I want my people to get some knowledge. Okay. Get some knowledge, find out what's going on, get involved with your children. So with the pipe to prison, the parents need to empower their children. When I give my children, I give my kids responsibility. And this is the responsibility I give my kids. When you're at school, them 8 hours a day, your life is in your hand. That 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you want to be responsible, this is what it is. So that shifts the way they think. It shifts the way they think because now they have some accountability when they're in that classroom. So this is what I teach my children. Now, I believe all the other parents should get involved. I'm over you. Your life is in my hand, but them 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, your life is in your hand. You control your destiny right then and there. If you shift that, it grows them up very intelligently. It works for my kids. Okay. Now, I know it'll work for someone else's.
Okay. Well, very good. In closing, is there anything that you would like, that you want the people out there in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram land to know about Ms. Demetria Smith?
Yes, about Ms. Demetria. Some of you may know me as the credit expert on Gospel 1360 because I'm a radio host too on KWWJ.